Hello everyone, CryptoEat here. So today I'm planning to start with an update or analysis on TRX Tron based on a charting request in the group, and then I'm gonna move on with the rest of the market. Guys, make sure to post your chart requests either here or in the group. If you wanna chat, if you wanna talk personally, you can do it on the voice channel in the group, unless you want to write it in the YouTube chat instead. Okay, so first I'm gonna start with the Tron analysis here. So as you know, I usually when I do any analysis on any coin with the MTF, what I do is I start by zooming out, and recently I've been looking at the 20-day time frame on most crypto coins. So uh, when I look here, what I see is on this chart here that it's actually very bullish on the long term. It's looking like a giant ascending triangle, or a giant push up to retest this last top. So when you take this, you can see like a big triangle here, and now it's even accelerating. It's going kind of parabolic, and usually what you see when you look at something like this is gonna go parabolic upwards. So the question here is, what will it, or what is it expected to do um, on the short term? Okay, so on the long term, what we have seen here is some kind of ascending channel, and then it broke upwards from that channel, and then it went back into the channel. So this is to be considered like an ascending accumulation, because also when the whole market was going crazy, this was just doing its thing gradually like that, and it was a form of accumulation apparently. And usually what happens with these is that you tend to see this going parabolic or increasing exponentially, and it seems like we are closing in on the phase where this is gonna increase the speed of its ascent. So like, you know, what I do is I zoom out. So on the 20-day time frame on the MTF, what you can see here, this is the current wave we're in. Let me just change the color on this one. So next thing is I wanna just take a quick look on a larger time frame. So for example, on the 1 month time frame, what you can see here is we are looking like a fake down. Okay, so we are starting to see what appears to be a fake down on the MTF, and it looks like a bullish wave that actually started here. When you take this beginning here, okay, it looks like this started here, and it actually also aligns with the price action. So this looks like this was a wave up, and then this was some sort of correction, and we are expecting another wave up. Okay, whether the correction is done or not, this is what we will actually investigate now. So this could have finished, or we could go a bit lower and then we go up again. This is what I'm thinking. So in order to analyze whether this is done or not, the next logical step is to mark the beginning of the wave that we're actually analyzing, which is the correction itself, by marking the top. Like if you look here, I aligned it at the very peak, and I want to assess whether this move down is finished or not by zooming in. So now when I zoom in, I start with the 3-day time frame, and you can see, yeah, the peak here was kind of aligning as a stochastic wave. Let me just show you what I mean. So this here is looking like when you compare the current stochastic RSI with the ideal stochastic wave reversal, it looks like one. Why? Because you can see that here this was the beginning. So this here was the beginning, the top, and you can see also it had this red highlight, and here the red highlight as well. And then it went down, and we had several smaller waves, and now the last wave is this one, which is going up, and then you can see here this wave is also aligning on the price action, aligning with the price action I mean. So for example here, this is the wave on the MTF, the gray and blue one, and this is the wave in terms of price action. So this one is already gone, more like it already moved, so it's kind of late to enter it. So ideally what I would be doing is I would wait for this to go down, tap down, and go back up. So I would enter it when it taps down, not wait until it's up. So I'm looking for something like this, while the other curves like blue is gonna probably do a smaller one, and green is gonna do something like this. Let me color them for you. So like that. So that's the goal here, but the goal is to long this when it's at the bottom. Not I'm drawing how it's gonna look like after it's finished, but this is the point that we are targeting, okay? And this is because when you look at this one, this ideal stochastic wave, this is what we want to target again. This, where the long entry is written on the ideal stochastic wave reversal. So we want to target when it taps down, so that we have like a precision entry. And in order to do that, what we are gonna be looking at is, let me just, yeah, what we are gonna be looking at, whether this is gonna do this while it retests this. This is looking like some sort of triangle, and either this is gonna break up now and do some sort of a retest, and then it's gonna go parabolic like this, or it's gonna simply go lower from here, get a rejection, retest here, and go back upwards. And for us it doesn't really matter, because what we are looking for is when it pulls back and it does this pullback on the MTF as well. This is what we are going to be looking for in terms of a re-entry. There's always a possibility, which is a small possibility, but it is still a possibility, where this is going to not give us a re-entry, and it's gonna flatten on the top like that. And in that case, what you would want to do is you would want to simply zoom in from here, go to the 6-hour time frame, and then as you can see, this is the correct zoom in time frame. Reason for that is you can see clearly here, let me just you can see clearly here an MTF wave. Let me give you an example. So here you can see you have a different kind of wave, which is starting here, and if we even zoom out slightly to the 8-hour, it's gonna be neater. Okay, so if you don't want to wait for the pullback that I mentioned before, then at least don't enter unless you get another tap down on this time frame, which is the 8-hour time frame. So this is where you should enter, and this could also either happen as a retest of a breakup like that, or a rejection followed by another attempt. Okay, so either an entry is at the 3-day and 4-day like I drew it before, or here at the 8-hour when it does this tap down again. Okay, so this was drawn, Um, Next one for me is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin actually is kind of tricky for me, and I'm kind of 50-50 on it, because also when you go to the 1 month time frame, what you're gonna see here is some sort of a fake down and a gear up. Okay, so you can see green here is pointing upwards like that, and then you had this um, gray here doing this, what appears to be a start of a fake down. But the thing is, this fake down here did not actually tap down yet, so to be safer we need to wait for it to do like that, to tap down like here, and then this to continue like that. But as you can see, the previous one didn't actually touch down. So sometimes when coins are very bullish, they don't touch down and don't give us this clear entry. So for example here we had an instance where it didn't touch down, and this was a really good entry. Like, this was back in September, where and afterwards it pumped over 180%. So when this happens, usually is what we do is we start by defining where this wave started and where it's at. So for example here, this is the current wave, and this wave here is a wave down. Okay, this mini one, I'm talking about the gray and blue curve. So this is a mini wave, and when you look at this in terms of the price action, you can see that this here was a wave upwards, and now we are in this consolidation, which is this wave downwards. Okay, and for us to assess whether this consolidation is done or not yet, the next thing to do is to zoom in. And when we zoom in, we should zoom into the 3-day time frame, and on this 3-day time frame we can see several waves here. So, and they can be abstracted to look like this. So this was a wave, and then we had this wave, and then another one. Whether this is gonna go deep, or whether this is just like a running flat ABC correction. Currently here on the MTF, what you can see is that this, which was the start of the wave here, this is looking like this is a local bottom in the making. And in order to actually look at it better, you should zoom in. Sorry, I chose the wrong time frame. Yeah, you should zoom into a time frame where this is the start of the wave down. So this should be looking like that. Let me just show you the reference stochastic wave. So what we want here is we want to zoom in to a point where this start that I just marked, this start over here, is gonna be looking like this start here, and then we would want to try and find us a long entry like the one that is drawn on the ideal stochastic wave reversal here. And so when we start by zooming in to something like the 8-hour or the 6-hour time frame, what you get here is you see that this is a wave, this is another wave, and then we started here. So that's what's gonna make me probably move my starting point or zoom out. But either way, if I move my starting point and I say that the wave in question now is this one, and I'm looking for a reversal, then I'm gonna be looking for something to make this look like that. So if I zoom in on the 6-hour, for example, here, you can see the starting point meets the condition that I described earlier, which is this one, and then you can see that we had this trend line over here and another one like that, and this is kind of in a tricky spot at the moment. Just a second. And here it is where it gets actually very tricky. Why? Because when you look at this curve here, all the way up to this point, it looked like this is actually very bullish. At this point specifically, it looked like it was very bullish, and the one before it as well, this one. But now what is happening is that we are starting to see this green curve here curving downwards, and the fake down, the gap closed while it didn't actually break up. So when that happens, usually it means that the buyers are getting exhausted here at the resistance, the trend line resistance, and it's not gonna have strength enough to push upwards. So what's happening here is this gap here collected. Usually you would want the fake down. When it collects, you want it to push through while it's closing the gap. But now you have this gap here closed while it actually didn't break the resistance. So that's why when I mentioned this at the beginning, I said it's very tricky. Reason is, as I said, the gap closed and it didn't break up, and at the same time what happened here is that this green curve is actually starting to look like it's gonna break down. So what's gonna happen here is either we're gonna break up after this is like makes several undecisive or indecisive candles. It's gonna probably start by breaking upwards like that, and then this green here is gonna pull upwards, or at this instant we're gonna break down. So if you wanna head short here, you could head short here with with a stop loss, a tight stop loss. So, and if you want to do that and bet that this is gonna break down contrary to what we usually do, then you should actually zoom in on a time frame that starts here. So now the wave in question is this one, and when this is the wave in question, when you look at this current MTF, it looks like this was like faking upwards slightly, this one here, and now it's collecting here, and it's kind of expected to do something like this, where this gray here and the blue together are gonna pull down, and with it this is gonna go down like that. Okay, so if you want to open up a head short with a tight stop loss, while assuming that this does not have the strength necessary to pull up, and that this is probably gonna like bleed down like this, and it's gonna be an invalidation of all the previous explanation, it's kind of reasonable to do it. Otherwise, if this taps down here without actually breaking down, then you could have another entry for the next pull up. That's why for me Bitcoin is kind of tricky, and even on the 12-hour time frame it did the same. It closed like it tapped up without pulling actually. So I'm assuming this is gonna have to do something like that before it goes back up, so probably go down and then back up. Otherwise it's gonna be this tricky low volatility creep upwards like that, and then it's gonna do something like this. So that's Bitcoin. Okay, now I'm gonna continue my own charting silently, unless someone wants to request any um, technical answers on any chart. Just post on the chat. Okay, gonna do a quick look at the coins on Binance and see which ones are volatile, and then do my thing. My thing is usually I keep scanning and scanning and scanning based on the MTF, and when I find something, I enter based on it. So I'm gonna do this silently, but you're gonna be seeing it in the background, but I'm not gonna keep explaining what I'm doing unless I see something that is interesting to share. I'm gonna share it. Otherwise, I'm only gonna respond if someone has a question for me. Okay. Okay, let me just show you a couple of things here. So when I take a look at the current market situation, what I do is I check the Binance top gainers and top losers. So when I do that today, one of the top gainers is NTRN, and looking at NTRN, the first thing I do is I zoom completely out, and since this has little history, it's hard to mark the start of the wave, but we are gonna assume based on the price action that this is the whole MTF stochastic wave. And as you can see here, we had a bounce today, and so when we zoom in, you see here, or zoom out, sorry, you see here, this is the last wave in question, this one, which is this one. And so when we zoom in, we can see here that this probably gave a decent entry. Let's just zoom to the 12-hour. Not really, it actually, like, here is the top of it, and then this was the local bottom. And if someone wants to find a re-entry on this one, you should then analyze the last wave again, zoom in again. So this is now the wave in question, which is this one. And then when you do that, you zoom in another time, yeah, And what you can see here is this was the start, and this is now correcting again. And now again you can do the same thing. We want to zoom in on this wave in the making, so we go to the 18-minute time frame, and you can see now it's aligned again perfectly well. So this is the start, and what I would usually want to see before even considering anything is another tap down. Okay, this is not an entry you would want to take, because probably what's gonna happen here is this is gonna wick down either like that or even deeper. So never enter when you zoom in on the correction wave, never enter with a tap up. So currently what we have here is a tap up, which is this. So you should never enter on this one. Okay, what you'd want to see is, like I keep showing you, which is something that looks like that. So right now we only had the first half of this, so this is looking currently like we are somewhere here. So this is actually kind of a possible late short entry, and we want to see this curve upwards slightly, and then maybe the after next one. So this is probably gonna be the entry, something like that. So you'd want to do the late entry somewhere here, and depending on how it's gonna manifest itself on the price action, we'll see. So what I'm gonna do next, and I keep doing every time, is I'm gonna set an alert here on the MTF when it crosses 20, and I'm gonna write a reminder for myself that I'm looking for an entry N possible long, and then I'm gonna write the time frames that I'm looking at. Like for example, I started with the 1 day, and then 3 hour, and then 18-minute zoom. So this is what I'm gonna be placing as an alert. Okay, I also have REI, REI, and ZRO. Let's just check those. Yes, you can see here something very similar to what we've been talking about. So again, I'm already always sorry, I'm just seeing the chat now. Give me a second. Yeah, so again here, so as you can see guys, I'm usually programmed to just toggle between the time frames in order to quickly arrive at my wave that looks like the one reversing. So you can see here that this ideal stochastic wave reversal is looking kind of similar now to this MTF down there. But the thing is, again, we're tapping up. So um, if this is the reversal here, it's gonna either just go from here straight without a tap down, or it's gonna tap down like we've shown on Bitcoin and on Tron. No need to keep redrawing the same thing. So again, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first look at a higher time frame that's neater, like this, so the 3-day for example here, and then I'm gonna mark the bottom. Why? Because we want now to identify this last wave here, which is this one, okay, and then we start with the zoom in process, go to the 6-hour time frame. If it's not really aligning, then zoom out or in until it does. So for example, now you can see here, that's the wave, it's looking like one, and now it's starting to look like this one. Let me just get you one, like the start of an impulse wave upwards, like this. So we're currently at the we already missed the first long entry, which was this one, at this tap down here, corresponding to that one, and it already gave us one red highlight, which is corresponding to this one. And so what happens now is we are probably expected to correct for a couple of days, 1, 2 or 3 days, something like that, and it's gonna do something like this and then shoot up. So now for example, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna target this tap down, and in order to do that I'm gonna be setting an alert again when it crosses 20. So here I'm gonna just write to myself Ray possible long, and then I'm gonna write 3-day 8-hour tap down. So this was Ray, and then looking at others, look at 0 for example. Okay, so now I'm gonna turn silent again. If you have questions, just write them in the chat. Alright guys, I'm gonna probably end it at that. Um, and I'm reminding you guys, if you want new chart requests for tomorrow, just make sure to join the group and to post them there. If you enjoyed this content, please make sure to like and to subscribe to the channel. If you want to know more about the indicator, um, join the channel, join the Discord group and ask for access. Okay, thank you. Have a great night.